Hello and welcome back to League One Talk YouTube channel. I'm Callum Tofts, joined by Mitchell Guest, our co-host. Tonight, me and Mitchell are both going to be going through every single League One stadium for this season. We're going to be putting into a tier list and we'll be ranking them. It's been interesting. Let us know in the comments what you kind of think is. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with your club as well? And if you also put your own list in the bottom as well, what you would put each team anywhere. So, Mitch, thanks for joining this evening, mate. We're going to get a lot of fun into this and really going to kind of be interesting to see where we're both going to have opinions on different stadiums, because I'm sure we're going to have some controversial opinions on each one. So we're going to get into the first one. Accrington Stanley, the Wham Stadium, holds a capacity of 5,450, which is the third lowest in the league. What's your opinion on it? Have you been to this one before, or is it a new one you were looking forward to going to, or not?
Yeah, I've not been to Accrington. I'm hoping I can go this season. Like a few of these stadiums this season, I'm hoping I can go to. But for me, obviously I don't know about you, but for me, I'd put Accrington under the Met category, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, they're not very big of a stadium. I think as of last year, they were the lowest ranked stadium in the division as well. I've never been. The Accrington fans have had mixed reviews about. They've not been too noisy, what I've heard and what I've seen on videos and everything. So I think Mayor's going to be an okay place to put them. I think it's not going to be that much of a bad thing for them. I think Accrington fans will quite agree. They haven't got the biggest stadium in the league, and it's really kind of a stadium that I think can be quite, good atmosphere, but I don't think it's going to be that good overall for a League One standard compared to some other teams. But next, we're going on to Barnsley. The Oakwell Stadium, I do believe it's called, holds 24,000. One of the bigger ones in the league. Obviously, just come down to League One. For me, I don't know about you, but I think this is going to be a solid stadium. I've heard good things about this one, a new one for me to go to this year as well. It looks like a really solid, good, well-rounded stadium. Can definitely get some atmosphere going, but I want to know your opinions on it as well before we kind of put it in there.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is a stadium that I've actually been to. I've actually been to Barnsley. I'd put it under solid. I think that's a reasonable tier to put Barnsley under. Obviously, just got relegated from the Championship. And like you just said, one of the biggest stadiums in League One this season. But yeah, I'd put Barnsley under that solid category.
Great, so that's Barnsley. And then next we're on to one of the bigger ones, and definitely vocal fans, in my opinion, Bolton Wanderers. The University of Bolton Stadium, formerly known, a big stadium, former Premier League stadium as well. For me, it's a hard one to judge because I don't think they get full capacity. I've never been, but I know the Bolton fans are really passionate, even when they were going through some bad times and everything. It does seem like it's a very well-supported club, but I don't know if they fill it every week. And I think that plays a part as well, because if you get a lot of empty seats around the stadium, it's going to, not cause that much big of an atmosphere. But, is there I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be solid or good God tier, in my opinion, because I know the Bolton fans are really well supported, but I don't know if it gets that filled.
Well, like for my opinion, I've watched a few, I've heard from a few Bolton fans mixed opinions as well about atmosphere. But like I agree with you, I don't reckon it's in the God tier or solid, because I don't believe they actually do fill out week in, week out, like some League One teams do. But yeah, for me, I'd put it under either Met or half decent.
I think for me, I'd put it top. I'm undecided. I think it's getting very low solid, but I do believe it's a solid stadium. But what we'll do is we'll put it in half decent for now. We'll kind of go in between us both, and then we can mix around.
Yeah,
at the
obviously
end.
For the stadium itself, I do reckon it is solid, but with it not getting sold out every single week, just edges me towards that half decent.
Yeah, makes sense. And, in my opinion, does play a factor onto the stadium itself and where you're going to put it. Next on to the Memorial Stadium, holds 12,000 exactly for Bristol. Again, it's not a stadium I've been to, but I would put it in half decent, I think, or meh. I think it's an okay stadium. I think it does kind of, what I'm seeing last season when they obviously got promoted, it did seem like a very good atmosphere, but I just don't think it's got the wow factor that some League One stadiums have. I think overall it's a good stadium. So I'd probably put it in half decent. I think it's an average League One stadium for me.
Yeah, to be fair, I agree with you. Obviously, I've never been to Bristol Rovers Stadium, but I've seen it a few times, obviously. But yeah, I'd agree with you under half decent.
Sounds there we go, half decent for that one. Next on to Burton Albion, the Pro Royal Stadium, 6,900 this one holds. So again, kind of near the bottom again. But for me personally, I'd put it in meh. I don't think it's that much of a good stadium personally. I kind of, on my travels with Cambridge, not really seemed that, enthusiastic, and the fans don't seem that into it, which is, it's never bad. I just don't think they're a big team in League One. That's my personal opinion. They've got a good team, but I just don't think supported wise they're on the lower end of this league. So I think meh for them, but interesting to get your opinion on it as well, and just really kind of, unless you kind of think otherwise.
Yeah, again, another one. I actually agree with you. Obviously, supporting wise, it goes into one of them bottom two categories. I was edging towards that very bottom category, but I'm gonna just put him under meh.
Yeah, we'll put it in the lower end of meh. I think
Yeah.
between both of us, there's one special team that's going to go in here for me personally, and it's going to be interesting. Next on to my team, Cambridge United. I want to get your opinion on this first because a lot of people have said mixed reviews about the Abbey Stadium. It holds, I think, we're up to 9,600, which is an improvement. So it's going to be interesting to get your opinion on the Abbey Stadium.
Before I do give you my opinion, do you sell out pretty much every week?
Not every week. We wouldn't. I think we get. So we hold pretty much 9,500. We get normally about 7.5, and then on a big game, so Europe's, which is Sheffield, it'll be Peterborough this year. We'll sell out fully. So we're almost edging to full capacity, but I'm not if you're going to get Burton or Morecambe down.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, again, I'm really hoping I can go to Cambridge. I know obviously our fixture change. Our fixture got changed to, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of January now.
2nd of January, we were playing it. We're at Hillsbury,
yeah. But I'm hoping when we're down at your ground, obviously I can go. Hopefully, but I've been hearing mixed reviews about Cambridge's stadium myself. But for me, I'm edging towards meh, but I think I'm just, there's probably people probably comment and that saying how I'm deluded, but I'm gonna put him under half decent.
Okay, I mean, I'll fully stick with that. I think for us, it depends on who we have down. We're always well supported away. I've had good reviews about us away as an away fan community, but our home, it's we're not the loudest. But I think if you're going to get some big teams down, I think when we had Ipswich last year, we had a lot of good support for the bigger teams, like most teams do. But I think I'm happy to put it. I'll put it in the lower end of half decent. I don't think we're that good at that loud at home, but I don't think we're going to be like Accrington or Burton personally. But we can always change, like I said, around. So next we're on to Charlton at the Valley, 26,875 holds, which is a good capacity, and obviously former Premier League as well. I think personally for me, going this year, I'm going to put it in solid. They were very well supported, very passionate fans, and it was a very good atmosphere at the Valley Stadium. I've heard people say good things about it as well. So I think the lower end is solid, but I do believe it's a solid stadium.
Yeah, I'd put them under solid as well. Obviously, despite going down, despite us going down to their ground first games last season and only getting a 0-0 draw. It was a very entertaining game, in my opinion, for the first half. But yeah, I'd put Charlton under that solid category as well.
Yeah, I think they're a very good, solid League One team and a very solid fan base with some good support as well. Cheltenham Town, which is a Johnny Rock Stadium, holds 7,000. For me, I think it's a meh stadium. We went last year on a Tuesday night and we won 5-0, which is our biggest win of the season. It just really, I think it was due to the fact that, they were losing 5-0, but it just didn't seem that interested or that, exciting at all. And their fans really didn't seem to make that much noise coming down to us either. I think that kind of makes the stadium as well. You kind of look at the facilities as well as a stadium. They're very lower end of that spectrum, in my opinion. So I think lower end of Mare, I don't think the Tim Pot, but I do believe the lower end of Mare is where they kind of stand.
Yeah, I agree. Lower end of Mare, maybe Tim Pot, but yeah, lower part of Mare, I'd say is fair result for Cheltenham Town.
Okay, next we're on to the second biggest stadium in the league, which is Derby County, which is Pride Park, 35,500. And for me, I know this is, you kind of hear all the time about how, Derby fans at the moment are kind of gloating and everything, so they're going to win the league and everything. But I think for me, their stadium and their fans are gods here, in my opinion. They're a massive team and a very well supported club as well. I think, where they were going last year in the Championship and really kind of still supported the club shows how passionate they are. And I think for me, I would put them in God tier. I don't know about you, but it just seems like a very well supported stadium when it's rocking.
Yeah, I agree. That's got to be the first team to go up in that top tier, God tier. Yeah, like you've mentioned, they are well supported. Fans could have turned against the club after last season with everything that was happening, going into administration and that lot. Then obviously Wayne Rooney leaving this summer as well. And to be fair, if it weren't for the drop-off that they had last season towards the end, they would have actually stayed up. But yeah, Derby's got to go in that tier.
Yeah, I think there's very few teams I've put in that, and they're definitely one of them. Next one's St James's Park, not Newcastle, which is I always find really weird. They're called St James's Park, and it is a weird thing. But Exeter City, newly promoted team into League One, a stadium I've never gone to purely because how far it is to travel down there. It is seem a very long way to go down to Exeter. It's not a big stadium that you kind of enticed to go to. No disrespect to Exeter fans at all. For me, I'd put it in top end of Mare, low end of half decent. I think they're a bit like Cambridge. They're going to, get some good support. But again, you've got to look at, they're not that big of a team. And I think if they haven't got a big team down there, it's going to be a bit of a low atmosphere, a bit like Cambridge or, Accrington or Bristol. I think that's my personal opinion. Be interesting to get your thoughts on it as well, though.
Yeah, obviously, it's a trek to go down there. I've never been there because I'm pretty sure before this season, Wednesday's never been in a league with Exeter. I might be wrong. They might have actually been in a league, but as far as I'm aware from now, we hadn't been in a league. I'd put them under bottom half decent, top Mare. But yeah.
Would you say they're above Cambridge, or would you put them at the low end of it?
I wouldn't say they're above Cambridge, no. But what I would say is they are above Bristol Rovers. But that is my opinion. I think Cambridge and Exeter are above Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, I can see that. I think Bristol, they're not. I think for the stadium size, they don't fill it out, which also plays a factor as well. But we can always have a chat about this and kind of really see what the end. Next, we're on to the two lowest teams with the lowest attendances. We've got Fleetwood with 5,300. I've never been. I'm not 100% sure what Fleetwood's like as a stadium or anything really. It's not something you really hear good things about. You don't really hear bad things about. So I'm kind of hoping in your opinion on this one, mate.
Again, I've never been to Fleetwood. I and this is another team that I've heard mixed opinions about fans that have been to their stadium. Majority of them they've got good support. So for me, I'm gonna edge for bottom, from top meh, bottom half decent. But which one to go with? I'd put them top meh.
Yeah, I can agree. I'm kind of going by your opinion on this one because I've never really heard anything about them. I don't know many Fleetwood fans personally, so we'll put them their top end of Mayor and go for that. Next, we've got Forest Green with 5,140 fans that can fit in there. I think for me, it'll be the bottom end of Mayor into Tim Pop. I think purely because you've got, I understand they're a vegan club and everything, but you also got to look at the facilities of the stadium. They're not really kind of catering for all, in my opinion. And I'm one who I do like a good football burger. So I think for me personally, I would put them I'd put them in Tim Pot, I think, just because of the stadium size. I've never really seen that many fans when they came down to Cambridge in League Two. I don't think they're that well supported, and never really kind of, heard good things about them personally. So I think for me, it'd be the high end of Tim Pot, maybe low end of Mare.
Yeah, I'd agree with your high end of Tim Pot.
Yeah. There's not really much to say personally about these because I really don't know much about them.
Yeah, I don't know much about these teams either. I'd have been to any stadiums in League One due to work last season.
Yeah, so next we've got Ipswich Town. I think for me, my favourite away game last year, purely because we won and the atmosphere was brilliant.
Yeah.
I think for me, I would put them in solid. Ipswich are very well supported considering it's League One football. Portman Road, 30,000 it holds. I think there was 27,000 when we played Ipswich away. They're very well supported away as well and very vocal and very passionate about the club and everything. And I think even for everything going down into League One, they're still supporting the club really well. So I think for me, I'd put them in the middle between Barnsley and Charlton, I think for solid. But, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. The fans might be a bit delusional sometimes, saying that they're going to win the league after just signing their first player when they did. But yeah, I'd agree with you. Solid. They do have a brilliant following, brilliant support. They are a well-supported club as well, just like Derby. But I wouldn't say they're Derby good. But yeah, solid is fair for Ipswich.
Yeah, I fully agree. So we've got Lincoln City next. I think it's the Linear Stadium, I think it's pronounced. Holds 10,130. I've never been. Apparently, I've heard a lot of good things about Lincoln support. So I think that kind of plays a factor. They do pretty much, I think, do get, 7,000, 8,000 at home every game, what I've heard. So I think I'd put it in bottom end of half decent, maybe top end of meh. I think, they seem to be a very good, well-supported team, very good, reviews about the stadium as well. So I would put it there personally.
Well, yeah. I obviously went there for a pre-season friendly 3 years ago. And I'd agree with you. Bottom end of meh, top half of bottom half of half decent, top half of meh. I'd say it's a fair result for Lincoln. Obviously, I've only been there in a pre-season friendly, because I was off work then. But yeah,
we'll put it in. I think half decent. We'll go bottom end of half decent. Yeah. I think it's kind of a fair point. MK Dons, everyone's favourite team in the world with the fans and everything like that. Stadium MK holds 30,500. I had no idea how many fans they get at home on an average day. I don't think it's more many than Cambridge personally. What I kind of saw last year at the end of the season when they were in the playoffs, they had no one behind the goal at all. And very few fans on the side. I would put it in Tim Pot personally. I think the stadium's lovely. I've been there once. The stadium's really nice, but there's no fan base. That's the problem. You've got a lovely stadium, but with no fans.
I'd agree, Tim Pot. They have got a nice stadium, a lovely stadium, but when Wednesday went down there and beat them. Believe it was 3-2, 3-1. When Bannon
Yeah, it was
scored
when
that.
Barry Bannon scored that like halfway line goal.
Yeah. I couldn't sit. I couldn't even hear the fans, let alone. I think the only time I heard the fans was when Scott Trine scored that free kick.
Yeah, I think I've read something that you had more fans there that day than they did.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
believe it
true.
did.
And then you took 5,000 down.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair. They get way more than less than us. Then sorry, MK fans, if there is any watching this, but I would put them very low in Tim Pot in my opinion.
yeah.
There, I think they're trying to do something with the club and trying to push it forward, but it will be a while anyway, in my opinion. So they get many fans there. So we've rinsed MK a lot on this channel before, and through other things. So I think we'll let them be for a little bit, but we can't really deny how bad the atmosphere is really at the stadium. Morecambe next, the Mazamar Stadium. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. 6,476. We won 2-1. I think it was 2-1, 2-0. 2-0 on a Tuesday night we went down there. I didn't go, but it was when Ben Wellman scored that beautiful volley, and I remember it very clearly because it was his first goal for the club, and I think it was his first goal. But it was a really good goal in my opinion. So I think, for me, I'd put it in middle of meh. I've heard okay things. They're quite well supported away. So I think that's not fair play to them considering they have to travel quite a lot for some away games. There's not really much to say about Morecambe, I'm afraid. Sorry, Morecambe fans, but I'm not 100% sure where to put you on this one.
Yeah, well, obviously we lost to these last season and we beat them last season. Not sure which one was at which ground. I think we did beat them on a Tuesday night at Morecambe Stadium. Not 100% guaranteed sure about that one though. But I'd agree. Meh, probably middle to lower of meh. I'd put Morecambe.
Yeah, I think middle for Morecambe would be half decent. I don't think they're as bad as the ones below it, but I don't think Acton and Fleetwood are lower than them. So I think that's a good place for them. Oxford with the Kazam Stadium. It's Cambridge's first away game this season. We at Oxford, 12,500. It's a weird one because I haven't got a stand. It's a really weird, thing because I haven't got a stand behind the goal. I don't think it's there and now. I don't know if it's opened or not yet, but I don't think it's still there. I could be wrong on this, and I'm sorry, Oxford fans, if I am, but I think for me, I'd put it in half decent. They're very well supported when they came down to Cambridge on the first game of the season last year. They were a very well supported team, and they do create quite a lot of noise and a good League One team in my opinion. So I'd put it in middle of half decent. I think they're better than us personally. I think I'd put them below Bolton though. But I don't think they're a bad supported team at all.
Yeah, talking about first away games, I believe ours is against MK Dons, which I'm pretty looking forward to. They can't fight at the stadium. Well, speak about Oxford. Obviously, this is a stadium that I'd love to go to this season. I'm gonna say for me, probably half decent. I'd agree, half decent.
Yeah, I think they're better supported than us. But I don't think they're better supported than Bolton. I'm half tempted to put Bolton into solid, just
Yeah,
because they've got the fan base. I think they're better than Charlton.
and they're a big club about it. And yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, we'll put them there. I think it kind of keeps them happy a bit as well, and we'll kind of. This will be fun, Peterborough. I'll let you go first, mate, because you can carry this one on.
Kind of being biased about this one as well. Peterborough obviously the third and final team relegated from the Championship last season. For me, obviously another stadium I've not been to in League One. Same as the next team that we'll come on to. But for Peterborough, I'm a edge towards that middle of half decent.
Yeah.
for me. Between middle and upper, half decent for me.
Yeah, I kind of, I'll give Peter a stick at the end of the day. I will do. I'm a Cambridge fan, but I think for me personally, they're a very well supported team, very passionate fans. 15,314 at the Western Home Stadium. It's your kind of your typical League One Championship stadium, on the retail park, and it's going to be, that kind of. But I think they're a very well supported team. I'd put them top end of half decent. I think they're above Oxford personally.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be, a good team this year, and sure they'll bring a lot of fans everywhere they go because that's how they think they are. But I think for me, I'd put them top of half decent, a solid fan base, and I've rinsed them enough already, so I won't do that until we beat them this year. Anyway, moving on to Plymouth. The home park stadium, 17,000 it holds. I've heard, see, at the start of the season, I heard good things about Plymouth. We drew to them our first away game of the season, 1-1. It was a good, solid atmosphere for them. They were doing really well at the start and they had support. And then I'm not 100% sure really what happened at the second half of the season for them. But I think for me personally, I'd put them in half decent. I think they're a very good, fan base with, they have to travel a lot to get to stadiums. So fair play to them.
Yeah. For me, obviously, Sheffield Wednesday faced Plymouth 4 times last season, which is the most we've actually faced a single team in a season, because we played home and away in the league. We played at their ground in the FA Cup first round where we drew, and then we played them at Hillsborough again in the FA Cup replay, which they got the better of us, so which was not good for us. But I do believe in the league we lost 3-0 to Plymouth. For me, I'm edging towards that meh category. I don't think they're higher than Plymouth and Peterborough, but I do think they're higher than Oxford.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think they're a good, solid team. They do have to travel quite a lot, and it's a very fair play to Plymouth for doing that way. So, Fratton Park and Portsmouth next. One of my personal favourite stadiums in League One. Cambridge seem to always, do well there. We won 2-1 last. I think it was 2. Yeah, we won 2-1 last year there, and they're always well supported. It's a lovely old ground, and one of the bucket lists for me to go to this year. I didn't go last year, unfortunately, but I think for me, I would put it in a solid category. I think they're a very well supported team and a very nice stadium as well. It's an old school stadium. It's the old kind of fashioned, and it's an iconic stadium in my opinion. I would put it in the bottom end of solid, high and decent, I think, for me personally, but that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, obviously we drew 0-0 at their ground back in December. We then beat them last game of last season, 4-0 ours. Obviously, our first home game and first game of this season as well. And for me, the fans were kind of quiet from the minute of the kickoff at our ground at the end of last season. Despite it being a boring 0-0 draw at their ground, obviously Luongo got sent off in that game. There was much better at their ground than ours. I'd agree with you. Top half of half decent, bottom half of solid. Obviously, former Premier League team as well. But yeah, I'd agree with you with that one.
Yeah, I think for me they're better than Peterborough, but I don't think they. It's between if they're higher or lower to Charlton, in my opinion. I don't think they are the stadium size, but
yeah, for me, I don't think they're higher than Charlton, but they are 100% higher than Peterborough.
Yeah, we'll put them there. So we've got Port Vale next, which I do believe is one of the higher ones, which is a bit of a weird one. Vale Park holds 18,900, which is surprising considering the size of the club, in my opinion. I know there's quite a lot of Vale fans out there, and they do believe they're the underdogs this year, which, we'll see and see what time tells. And that's a, podcast story for another day. Very quickly, if you want to check out our podcast, it's on Spotify. The link is in the description. Me and Mitch will do weekly podcasts, sometimes once or twice a month. Different rating guests of League One. fans, Championship, any kind of football. If you do want to get involved with the podcast as well, leave a comment if you want to join us, and we'll be in contact. If you do want to join us on the podcast on future times or future videos like this, we're always happy to have anyone on and chat about football in general. It's it's a channel we want to get everyone involved with as well. But that's that's enough plugging for me for one day. But so yeah, what do you kind of think of Port Vale, Mitch?
Well, what did the ground hold? 18,000.
It was 18,947. So 19,000.
So close to 19,000. And for a newly promoted team that's just been in League Two as well, that is not a small stadium. I believe that's actually the biggest stadium last season in League Two. I'm not 100% sure with that.
I think it was Bradford and then them, yeah.
Oh, well, one of the biggest stadiums. For me, I'd actually, I don't think they're bigger than Lincoln, higher than Lincoln, but I'd put them at that lower end of half decent for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think they're a very well supported side and very, respected football club as well. I do like Port Vale as a club. So I think the bottom half of, half decent is a very good, respectful thing for them. Sheffield Wednesday next. For me, God tier. It's not me being biased, because you're here. I think I went there last year. We don't talk about result. We never do on this channel. We will never mention that result ever on any kind of talks between Cambridge and Sheffield ever again. Minus the result, I think for me, it was the best stadium I went to last year, minus St James's Park, but that was the FA Cup, and
yeah.
I will get that in every video as well, that we won 1-0 against Newcastle, just so Newcastle fans are aware. And yeah, anyway, so I think for me, God's here, it's going to be easy. Their fans were brilliant. The atmosphere before and after the game was brilliant. I think, it's one of them iconic stadiums that you've got to visit if you get the chance to, in my opinion. It was such a old school stadium, which I loved. It was very, bouncy and very loud and everything. I will ask Mitch while I've got you. You know that bit next to the away stand where that little steps are?
Yeah.
What is that? Because when I was there, we were all chatting what is this?
I don't. Are you on about near? I think
so you know where the away stand is, and then so we're behind the goal.
Is it when you're sitting on the away stand? Is it at the left side of you or the left side?
Yeah, the left side. Yeah.
Where all them seats are and that.
That's the one. Yeah, they look like cobblestone steps and stuff.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know that myself. Obviously, we used it. We used that area on when we was at home against Sunderland in the playoffs because we had a band playing there. But I've always wanted to know that myself, to be fair. But talking about Wednesday, for me, I'm not going to be biased at all, but yeah, I'd say we are in that top tier.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not me being right here. I do also think we're higher than Derby as well, to be fair. Our away support is just phenomenal. It is honestly phenomenal. Most games, if not all games, we just don't stop. Same as home games, but yeah, I'd agree. Top in that first tier.
Yeah, I think 13. I think pretty much 40,000, or was it 40? Yeah, 38,859.
Yeah.
According to this, it holds 40,000 pretty much if you can squeeze more people in. It's such an iconic stadium. I think they're bigger than Derby purely because I think you guys sell out every single week. I don't know about Derby, but I think personally it's, a massive stadium with a massive support, and you can't say otherwise, in my opinion. And that's my honest. I've always thought that about Sheffield. It was one of the stadiums I wanted to go to last year. I did, and it was a really good atmosphere as a stadium. So Shrewsbury, I think it's Waters Meadow Stadium. It's called 9,875. Never been. I don't know much about Shrewsbury in general. It's kind of a team that goes under the radar, in my opinion, League One. They're always kind of bottom half of the table, but never really kind of challenge relegation. But I don't know much about these at all. I'm afraid, Shrewsbury fans, but
Yeah, I don't know much about Shrewsbury either. I've not, and this is inspired to be fair, because when I hear things about other teams and the fan base, their stadium, the sport, and all that lot, it's normally majority good things about it. But I've got a few mates who are Shrewsbury fans, and they're all saying obviously it's quality, but some might not be biased in that. But yeah, for me, I'd put top end of Tim Pot. I probably get some stick in the comments in that for that, but for me, top higher than Forest Green, but top Tim Pot.
that's fair. I don't know much about them at all, so I'm kind of going by your opinion on that one, mate. So it's more of a any comments about Shrewsbury, that's up to Mitchell. You know, I'm a bystander in this one, so you can take the hit for these ones, mate. But
I'll probably get a lot of stick in the comment for that, but it's worth it.
I'm waiting for the Peterborough ones, so it's fine. But anyway,
Yeah.
on to Wickham. I've been before. I didn't go last year. I went when we were in League Two. Adams Park, 10,000. It's a good stadium. I've heard bad things about the food prices, but that's not really kind of playing a factor. It's more the atmosphere and the ground itself. I think for me, I'd put it in half decent. I think there would be, I think in with us and Oxford, I think personally, I think that kind of three would be an average place for them. They're a good state club with some good fans, but I don't think they're that good. They're going to be as high as Plymouth or Peterborough personally.
For me, again, I was like, I don't think they're higher than Plymouth or Peterborough as well. I do think they're in that half decent. When we went down to, I think it's Adams Park, is it?
It's Adams Park, yeah.
Yeah, when we went down there, there was pretty decent. I wouldn't say there was solidly good or top tier, but half decent, 100% above Oxford. But I wouldn't say they're above Plymouth or Peterborough.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they're going to be, a very good supported team, but not too big in my opinion. But yeah, I'd put them around there. So that's all the team's done. Is there any team you kind of had a second opinion or kind of think you should change positions on?
They're both in half decent, but I'm gonna get some stick from Lincoln fans. All three newly promoted teams in that half decent, I'd say are higher than Lincoln.
That's fair enough. I kind of agree. Port Vale are higher than Lincoln. I don't think they're high as Bristol, but I do believe.
Yeah.
They're going to be that kind of.
I'll probably get some stick from Lincoln fans there, but we'll probably get some stick from Port fans because they'll think that their team should be higher, especially MK Dons fans. They'll think that they should be at least.
There's not many of them around, so I think we'll be all
right. Good
I'm
point.
sorry, MK fans. I know a few of them, and I know I've already got the stick coming when they're coming down to us on the first day of the season. But I shall see you all there on the Saturday as well, MK Dons fans. Apparently, you're going to sell it out, which good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, thanks guys so much for watching. Thanks Mitch for joining us this evening. If you guys do like it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new as well. Comment down below your favourite stadium you've been to and why, and your least favourite. And also, do you agree with, disagree with us? I'm sure you guys got your opinions as well. Stay tuned for future videos. Got coming over this weekend, like I mentioned on the update video the other day. And we've also got a podcast, hopefully, during the next week or two coming out as well. So keep your eyes peeled for them. Like I said, if you do want to be a guest on the show, podcast or YouTube,